I've got a great in-game tutorial coming right up. I'm Mike, this is Chaos Cabin, and today we're going to talk about preparing the finest cuisine possible in a zombie apocalypse. Food is really important. Some of it will simply fill you up. Some of it will fill you up and make you sick. Others will fill you up, restore your health, and increase your health level and your stamina. So we're here to explore which is which and what to avoid. So without further ado, let's run that video. Alright folks, before you can cook food, you gotta have food. Back in episode 6, I showed how to make a simple garden. This is an extension of that. You gotta have fruits and vegetables in your diet, so make sure you've got a garden. Remember, episode 6, link in the description. Now, my apologies to any of the vegans that have managed to make it this far in the zombie apocalypse. I don't know how you've done it, but you're going to have to learn to embrace the concept of meat eating if you're going to survive and thrive. You're going to have to get yourself some fresh meat, not that rancid crap you get from harvesting a zombie's body, but something from a deer or a pig or a rabbit or a bear, something of that nature, so learn to hunt. Now this is in no way a hunting tutorial, but remember there's a variety of ways to kill your meat. And you can shoot them with an arrow, you can shoot them with a gun, or my personal favorite, you can run them down with a mini bike. Nothing's better than some good fresh roadkill. Alright, let's go. I'm going to assume you already have a cook fire with a cooking pot and a grill and some wood in it. You'll need all that to cook. I'll put charts up at the end of this video that you can screenshot and refer to later. First of all, we'll take a look at all these ingredients in their raw state. Blueberries will give you 1.4 fullness and 1.4 hydration, which is not very much. Potatoes, 2.8 fullness, but nothing else. Yucca is one of the better raw foods, as it will give you 4.2 fullness and 10 stamina. Raw corn will give you 1.4 fullness and nothing else. Mushrooms are another great food to be consumed raw. They will give you 6.9 fullness and 1.4 hydration. Avoid eating raw eggs if you can. They will give you 4.2 fullness, but they will actually take away stamina, and they'll give you food poisoning, which will cause you to fill your pants. Alright, raw meat. It will give you 13.9 fullness. However, it will also give you food poisoning, so avoid eating raw meat if you can. Here are a couple of other things to consider in general. Raw meat, or anything with meat cooked into it, has a smell that will attract zombies. You'll notice here that it's got a bag smell of 20 and a belt smell of, I believe it's 60. So if it's in your backpack, it doesn't attract nearly as much as if it is just on your quick access belt. Now it's not listed here, but I believe if it is in your mini bike storage, it is even less. I've never had any problem attracting zombies with meat in my mini bike storage. Alright, I'm going to get cooking. I highlighted the meat and pressed up on the D-pad to select recipes, and now we're going to go in there and make boiled meat. Now I've highlighted the boiled meat on the left side, and I'm just going to make one. So at this point, I just click up on the D-pad. I'll do the same procedure for charred meat, and if you look up here in the center panel directly under charred meat, you'll see that it'll take 7 seconds to cook. On the right-hand panel under fuel, you'll see that I've got about 2 minutes and 35 seconds worth of fuel. Now I'll cook some grilled meat. Now look down there at the lower left-hand panel, and you can see that you can have up to 4 things cooking at once. Now we'll rustle up some bacon and eggs. Now that takes 2 eggs and 1 piece of meat. Now in the zombie apocalypse, we don't get too stressed out over the meat. Meat is meat, whether it's chicken, rabbit, bear, pig, or deer. After all, meat's meat and a man's gotta eat. A special shout out to whoever can tell me what cheesy old horror film that came from. Next we're going to do meat stew, and now we're starting to get into things that take a variety of items to cook, including a glass jar. Now, the thing to remember about glass jars in cooking is that you're not going to get it back. That's why it's really important to save every glass jar you come across, especially early game. Now I'm going to add some wood, and you might notice that if the campfire is in use, you can't put it in that first slot. You'll have to put it in the second slot. Now I'm going to go up here and highlight blueberries, and I'm going to click up on the D-pad to go into the recipes. And the first thing we'll make is blueberry pie. Now you'll notice it's grayed out. When I highlight it, it shows me what I need, and that's 1 blueberry, 1 egg, 1 cornmeal, and 1 bottle of water. I don't have any cornmeal. Now, that's by design. I can show you how to make cornmeal. Make cornmeal by coming down here, highlighting your corn, clicking recipes, and you'll notice there's no cornmeal in there. You don't make cornmeal at the fire. So you back out, you go into your regular menu, then you highlight the corn, and you select recipes by clicking up on the D-pad, and there it is. Now you make cornmeal. I'm going to make several because there's more than one recipe that requires cornmeal. Now I'll go back into the campfire, and I will highlight blueberries. I'll click up on the D-pad to go into recipes, and now you'll see blueberry pie is available. So I'll select blueberry pie and click up on the D-pad to cook one of those. Just a reminder, we won't be getting that glass jar back. That's why you need to keep all those glass jars you can. Now I'll cook the baked potato, and the beauty of the baked potato is you don't need a glass jar of water or anything fancy, just a cooking grill. And you can stack quite a bit of those into one slot, so you can carry a lot of baked potatoes without having to take up a lot of space. Let's talk a little bit about a yucca. Yucca you don't cook into anything. You can eat it raw, and you can make it into a juice, but the juice we'll cover in a different video about drinks. I've highlighted the corn, and we've already made meat stew, and we'll do vegetable stew in a minute, but right now we're just going to do corn on the cob. And of course, that's going to use up another glass jar. Now the last thing I have left here is a mushroom, which of course can be eaten raw, but you can also use it to make a vegetable stew. That will take 1 potato, 1 piece of corn, 1 mushroom, and 1 glass jar of water. I'm going to have to throw a little more wood on the fire here. Now I will highlight the egg down here. Select recipes. And we've already done the bacon and eggs and the blueberry pie. We'll do boiled egg. Of course, that'll use 1 more glass jar that we won't get back. I'm going to go through each of the items I've cooked and examine the properties. Boiled meat will give you a fullness of 13.9 and a wellness of 0.8, so it will increase your wellness. It has a bag smell of 1 and a belt smell of 5. That is the least of any of the meat-containing products. If you're going to travel with meat, this will be the least noticeable to zombies. Charred meat has a 13.9 fullness and a 0.8 wellness. However, that is at a cost of 6.9% hydration. So you'll need to make sure you have some water to replenish that. It does have kind of a high bag smell at 10 and a high belt smell at 30. Grilled meat will have a fullness of 13.9 and wellness of 0.8 with dehydration of 2.8. It has a bag smell of 5 and a belt smell of 15. Bacon and eggs, fullness of 20.8, wellness of +1. When you see that positive wellness number, that will not only replenish your wellness, but increase your wellness maximum. A bag smell of 10 and a belt smell of 30. Meat stew is the absolute king at a fullness of 27.8 and a wellness of +1. However, it is also the king of attracting zombies at a bag smell of 20 and a belt smell at a whopping 60. This is the sort of thing that should probably be enjoyed in the privacy of your own home. Now you can consume cornmeal without making it into anything else. It'll give you a fullness of 2.8, which is twice what raw corn is. However, it will dehydrate you by 13.9%. I'll go through these other items and then we'll come back and make this into cornbread and see the difference. Blueberry pie will give you a 13.9 fullness addition and a wellness addition of 0.8. Baked potato will give you a fullness of 5.6, and you can stack a lot of them, and it only requires a grill to make them, so that's a good road food. Boiled eggs will give you a fullness of 5.6 and a wellness addition of 0.32. Vegetable stew will give you a fullness of 9.7 and an additional wellness of 0.1. Corn on the cob will give you a stamina boost of 2, a fullness boost of 4.2, and wellness boost of 0.08. Now I'm going to go back to the cornmeal and I'm going to make the cornmeal into cornbread. Once again, this is a glass jar that I'm not going to get back. Alright guys, as soon as this is done cooking, I'm going to throw up those quick reference charts with the food properties and the recipes, so get ready to screenshot that. Okay, there you have your cornbread. It will give you 6.9 fullness and 0.4 wellness. And finally, here are the charts that I've been promised. Now to cram all this info in here, I've had to use some abbreviations. So F is for fullness, S is for stamina, W is for wellness, and we have bag smell and belt smell and hydration. Alright guys, I hope that helped. If you got something out of that, then give me a like and a subscribe and thumbs up. And until next time, survive.